Let us finish the 9th chapter of A Tale of Two Cities from the 3rd book. The book is called The Track of a Storm. The chapter is called The Game Made. And we are at the 2nd trial of Darnay called Evermond, and apparently Dr. Manette has accused him, although Dr. Manette denies it. Citizen Manette, be tranquil. To fail submission to the authority of the tribunal will be to put yourself out of law. As to what is dearer to you than life, nothing can be so dear to a good citizen as the Republic. Loud acclamations hailed this rebuke. The president rang his bell, and with warmth resumed, "If the Republic should demand of you sacrifice of your child herself, you would have no duty but to sacrifice her. Listen to what is to follow. In the meanwhile, be silent." Frantic acclamations were again raised. Dr. Manette sat down with his eyes looking around and his lips trembling. His daughter drew closer to him. The craving man on the jury rubbed his hands together and restored the usual hand to his mouth. Defarge was produced. When the court was quiet enough to admit of his being heard, and rapidly expounded the story of the imprisonment and his having been a mere boy in the doctor's service, and of the release, and of the state of the prisoner when released and delivered to him, this short examination followed, for the court was quick with its work. "You did good service at the taking of the Bastille, citizen?" "I believe so." Here an excited woman screeched from the crowd, "You were one of the best patriots there. Why not say so? You were a cannoneer that day there, and you were among the first to enter the accursed fortress when it fell. Patriot, I speak the truth." It was the Vengeance who, amidst the warm commendations of the audience, thus assisted the proceedings. The president rang his bell, but the Vengeance, warning with encouragement, shrieked, "I defy that bell!" wherein she was likewise much commended. "Inform the tribunal of what you did that day within the Bastille, citizen." "I know," said Defarge, looking down at his wife, who stood at the bottom of the steps on which he was raised, looking steadily up at him. "I knew that this prisoner of whom I speak had been confined in a cell known as 105 North Tower. I knew it from himself. He knew himself by no other name than 105 North Tower. When he made shoes under my care, as I serve my gun this day, I resolve, when the place shall fall, to examine that cell. It falls. I mount to the cell with a fellow citizen who is one of the jury. Directed by a gaoler, I examine it very closely. In a hole in the chimney where a stone has been worked out and replaced, I find a written paper. This is that written paper. I have made it my business to examine some specimens of the writing of Dr. Manette. This is the writing of Dr. Manette. I confide this paper in the writing of Dr. Manette to the hands of the president. Let it be read." In a dead silence and stillness, the prisoner, under trial, looking lovingly at his wife only looking from him to look with solicitude at her father, Dr. Manette keeping his eyes fixed on the reader, Madame Defarge never taking hers from the prisoner, Defarge never taking his from his feasting wife, and all the other eyes there intent upon the doctor, who saw none of them. The paper was read as follows, and that is the end of chapter 9.